really is loyal to the Aquino family, which is not always a good thing. Personal loyalty, you know, we should be wary of that thing, because I think that the spirit of people power precisely taught us that loyalties to certain patrons should not always be the case.
Yeah.
Kailangan marunong tayo lahat mag-draw ng line sa sand and say, you know, only until something wrong happens, only until you do something wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying that they should sit down, they meaning?
They, Binay and particularly the president-elect and the vice president-elect, nobody else. Those two people are...
Yeah. What does it say to you that they haven't sat down together and haven't met?
I think we should really end this, you know, we've been, I'm not going to say they're posing and all that, but I really think, I think it was Glenda Gloria who said in one topic, a different topic, I think on the issue of Bangit, that let's stop managing our affairs through media. And I really think these two gentlemen and the other and other people who really care for them should tell them, sit down, talk frankly, tell him why it's not possible. But there ought to be a compromise somewhere that's based on principle and not based on fear or sentimentality.
Okay. Do you have something in mind which would be a good compromise?
No. And I think there ought to be a lot of things. He's a very skilled person. He's shown that he's wily and he's canny and cunning, as they say. And I'm sure that if he's given the respect, not unconditional naman kung ano yung gusto niya, yun na yung magagawa niya, but enough respect na kinikilala naman na nanalo siya. And nanalo siya in a very surprising way. And wala naman pruweba na, you know, nandaya siya or anything. I think naman Mr. Binay is a big enough man to respond to that with the same display of respect. Okay, it takes two to tango, really.
And it takes two to talk, no? To sit down and talk. So siguro maraming mariresolba pag ganun. Si U.S. Ambassador Harry Thomas was saying that, well, he took up the issue of trafficking with George Pina. It just crossed my mind, parang why is the U.S. Ambassador suggesting what are they trying? And then, you know, we have Senator Frank Drilon, former Senate President Frank Drilon, who was saying also that maybe, you know, there could be a commission that could be created for him the same way a commission was created for ERAP. Yung mga ganun, ano? May mga
Anti-Poverty Commission. Well, I don't know. Since he's done a lot of good for Makati's poor or something, or some other, you know, I think something na action-oriented. Kasi ganun naman siya talaga, you know, he's not one for pontificating or speechifying. So, siguro something that what will allow him to act then.
Okay. Kanina you brought up the elephant in the living room or in the studio here in Studio 6. No? And you said it about yung leadership ni President-elect.
During that campaign.
At that time, no? But in the future, you know, how would you like to see him handle a similar situation? You know, there might be instances na ganoon.
I think I've always thought that when you bring too much, you know, when you try to quantify, you know, when you try to put up defenses too early, it really just complicates things. I know there will always be scheming politicians and whatever, but probably because since President-elect Aquino really wants us to start a new beginning na pinapangako, maybe it should start there also. Maybe it should start also by giving people the benefit of the doubt, by looking at people as allies and by thinking that yes, they have something to contribute rather than just, you know, closing ranks sa start pa lang, because it might be creating more problems really when, you know, sitting down and being frank with each other will actually work
and what to do with Mar Rojas, no? Because like, well, it's going to be a year before he can get appointed. But it's been said that his advice would be sought, his counsel would be sought, no? So
yes, I mean, I think unofficially, and why not? You know, they're very good. They're good friends, and obviously he trusts Mar Rojas, or else he wouldn't even have run with them. You know? So tama lang na kunin yung advice niya. But I think they should also be wary about putting him in a semi-official position where he can be seen to be exerting undue influence without the accompanying accountability. So you should be careful of that.
Pero ngayon pa lang sa transition committee the transition committee for example, sinabi ni Marna, hindi ako yung head nito, parang member lang ako, no? Parang there was that effort to.
That's good, because I think also, and this probably is more addressed to the Aquino sisters, I think they complicated matters more really by coming out there and saying, no, you know, trying to appease everybody and ending up muddying the waters more, actually, like saying that, you know, he just didn't want to hurt, you know, to make dagdag the hurt feelings of
Maria.
Mr. Rojas. Mr. Rojas was a candidate. He knew he could either win or lose. He should be big enough to take these things in stride, and I think he is. So I think maybe they should like back off a little bit. I think they're all mature gentlemen. They'll find a way.
And ladies.
And ladies.
in the case of Balsi and Pinky. But they're part of the search committee, and they do advise their brother, no? So, sa'yo, okay lang yun, basta't wala masyadong mga pronouncements?
I do have, personally, I have, well, I guess he trusts them also, but I think that sana yung family from day one, sana may distansya. Sana, I'm sure there are enough professional, bright, and people of integrity who have no family, you know, blood ties to him that could have been there. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm sure they're good people, but I would have wanted it to start really from the start na bago to. Kasi problema, ilang presidente na yan eh. Puro pamilya ang problema natin. And to some extent, even his mom's time, we have, you know, there was talk of kamag-anak ing. So I would have wanted to see a stronger display of, you know, this is a new beginning.
But they seem also very protective of him, and you know, even you yourself, you know, they have the integrity kasi, di ba? And parang they will watch out. You know, they are the eyes where Noy Aquino doesn't have eyes. Parang ganun.
Yeah, I want to point out the integrity thing, but here's the problem. If we give naman, everybody naman, you know, benefit of the doubt that they all have good intentions, but if we start saying na, okay lang sila kahit pamilya kasi may integrity, where do we stop?
Okay.
So, you know, sana from the start, mas klaro na sana yun.
Okay. So your advice is number one for Noy Aquino and Jojo Binay to please sit down and talk and stop managing this through the media, like you were saying. And number two, for the family to
probably step back a little and give, you know, he has spokesman, he has his executive secretary-elect, hindi naman siya elect. Sorry.
Executive Secretary, apparent, Jojo Ochoa.
Somebody who's going to be his executive secretary, somebody who's by all means naman bright enough and, you know, eloquent enough, and they should
hayaan na muna. Hayaan sila
muna. Family, yun ang problema dun. Nag-aaway-aaway tao nila.
Well, I'm sure you've also seen the so-called list, no, na the Aquino camp naman will not say is really true, no, and accurate. But what do you think of the name so far? Everybody okay, or do you have some questions on?
Well, I think it was Mr. Doranile who said that wag sana recycle lang na tayo ng recycle.
So who are you referring to specifically?
Well, I don't know. There are a couple of ex-cabinet officials done, but like, I don't think naman just because they were once cabinet officials, they should, you know, be shushed away. Because if they did well, like si Marojas na lang, you know, he served two scandal-prone governments, administration, and yet nobody has really come out to say that Marojas is corrupt, which is, you know, not the same thing other, you know, of other people. But so hindi naman dahil lang, there are a lot of career servants and public servants who try their best under very difficult circumstances.
So no dearth of talent, in other words, and wag silang matakot.
But ngayon, I'll, you know, I'm open, like, you know, I'm not about to give unsolicited advice to the president-elect about how to, who to choose.
No, I'm not asking naman for, yung ano lang, your thoughts lang. I mean, like, well, Romulo, for example, I mean, quite controversial, no? The Uniforce, for example, has come out with an open letter.
Yes, I know.
On him.
I think also there's also the point that I think Mr. Aquino has been very clear that comfort level is very important to him. Well, I may not always agree with that, but I'm not about to deprive him of his comfort level. So if he thinks Secretary Romulo is the best person for the job, up to him.
Okay, thank you very much, Inday Espino Verona, journalist and blogger. Thank you so much.